Morning, everyone. Welcome to Mount Olivet Conference and Retreat Center. I'm Dan Kahl, the Director of Operations, but you probably know me more as the Naturalist at Mount Olivet Conference and Retreat Center. Today we're going to show you some signs of spring, what's happening outside. I have on my bird shirt. Of course, migration is in full swing now, and we're expecting soon the orioles and the rose-breasted grosbeaks and the hummingbirds to come back. But for now, let's take a trip outside and we'll look at some signs of spring. All right, here we are on the south end of the chapel. Outside we have this lovely patch of Virginia bluebells in bloom. If you look closely, maybe you'll be able to see some native bees pollinating. There's some pink versions here, so I guess you could really call them pink Virginia or pink Virginia bells. This is a perennial that comes up each year and blooms early and then disappears by the end of June. So if you mix these in with your hostas, they make a great companion planting. They're a native wildflower that's also a perennial. And then around them you have tulips here. There's sort of orangey red, yellow, and red back there. There's a couple of fritillarias here, which is kind of exotic looking. And then some more tulips over here and allium in the front that'll be blooming later on. So a lot of spring bulbs are up and blooming. Here we are in one of the perennial beds, and we have all kinds of daffodils coming up. Now daffodils are a nice spring bulb to have in your yard. The deer, the rabbits, and the squirrels tend to stay away from this spring bulb. So it's a much easier one to grow. In front of it here we have some of this blue, lovely blue perennial type of forget-me-not that has just started to come into bloom as well. And in front of that is some grape hyacinths that are just coming up and blooming as well. So there's different colors of daffodils that you can get, and both single and double flowering, and they tend to multiply each year. So it's a fun bulb to have in your yard. Hi again. Here we are at a birdhouse that's designed for a black-capped chickadee. You have a hole here that's 1.1 inches in diameter, so bigger birds can't get in there and kick them out. And the chickadee has been going in and out here. They'll use hair from rabbit fur or deer fur, sometimes moss. And the nest is basically done inside, but it hasn't started laying eggs yet, but I would expect it to happen any day. Another sign of spring is getting ready for the vegetable garden. This year, for the first time, I'm trying a grow light. This is a 54-watt T5 fluorescent bulb, keeping it about 6 inches above the flats, and having it on about 16 hours a day. This is to help keep the seedlings from stretching too much, which is often a problem I had doing it without a grow light in the past. So here we have a bunch of tomatoes coming up, peppers, which are the slowest to emerge. It's more flat over here. We have some watermelon and muskmelon. I have a whole flat of onions there. And then another flat over here that has some squash in it, cucumbers, annual forget-me-not. I'm trying broccoli, basil, and then there's also some cosmos. So all these will be going in the gardens here at the Retreat Center in the next probably in 2 or 3 weeks. Some of them I may transplant up to bigger pots. But getting ready for the vegetable garden and planting is another sign of spring. Now we're in the garden area, the former tennis court, and we have these 12 raised beds, which has drip irrigation in them as well. And All of the beds have had fresh compost from our own compost pile this year. We had a shredder, so they all got shredded up in the compost, and it makes a nice topping. So all those seeds you saw earlier in the cottage there that I started, a lot of them are going to be eventually coming out here into the garden during the month of May. So you'll see a big transformation in the coming months. Well, thanks for joining us today. We hope you see signs of spring in your backyard as well as you take walks in your neighborhood. Look for different spring bulbs coming up, buds leafing out on different trees. There's all kinds of different colors coming out. And birds coming back. Each day there might be a new bird that might show up at your yard. As you take walks in parks, you can see maybe wildflowers in the woods, or in marshy areas you might see geese or other ducks nesting as well. But look up, and look down, and look all around, and you'll see signs of spring as you go on your daily jog.